Mr. Speaker, reducing the income inequality between the people I represent in the Northern Mariana Islands and Americans in the rest of our nation is one of my key goals as a member of Congress. Household median income in the Marianas was just $20,000 in the last census, compared to $53,000 nationwide. And for that reason, I have always supported the decision made in the 110th Congress to raise the minimum wage in the Marianas to the U.S. level in a series of graduated steps. When that decision was enacted in Public Law 110-28, the locally set minimum wage in the Mariana Islands was just $3.05 per hour, and the minimum wage had been stuck at that level since the 1990s. Today, the minimum wage has effectively doubled to $6.05 and will increase to $6.55 a year from now. That doubling of the minimum wage has occurred during a period of economic difficulty for the Mariana Islands. Gross domestic product was dropping by 8%, 12%, 19% in the first 3 years of minimum wage increase. I should say, however, that these drops had nothing to do with the wage and everything to do with the loss of manufacturing because of the general agreement on tariffs and trade, and because of a loss of tourism. In the most recent year, for which GDP data is available for our islands, we had economic growth of 4.4%, even as the minimum wage continued to rise. The U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis says that this economic growth reflects a growth in tourism, especially an increase in tourism from China. But it also reflects a growth in consumption because workers who are paid more can spend more, and that is good for the economy. So I look forward to next year's increase of another 50 cents in the minimum wage in the Marianas. I look forward to reaching the national minimum wage in 2019. And I support legislation raising the national minimum wage because I have now seen in my district that increasing wages can have a positive impact on economic activity and improve people's lives. At the same time, I recognize that there is such a thing as economic reality. Raising the minimum wage too quickly could have detrimental effect, could cause employment to shrink. For that reason, over the last 7 years that I have been in Congress, I work with members on both sides of the aisle to tailor the minimum wage increases to the specific economic realities in my district. Instead of raising by 50 cents every year as the original law required, we skipped the increases in 2011, 2013, and this year, 2015. And we arrived at this decision to stretch out the timing of the increases by listening to employers on the island and to workers, because workers also understand that increasing wages too quickly could jeopardize their jobs. We also listened carefully to the Government Accountability Office experts who looked at the effect of these minimum wage increases periodically and report back to Congress. I think that, so far at least, we have successfully walked the fine line. We have kept the minimum wage increasing faster than prices, GAO tells us, without disrupting the economy. And I'm very grateful to both Democrats here in Congress who agreed to slow down the increases and to Republicans who agreed to let the minimum wage keep going up. They did so, I think, because of a recognition that a relatively isolated island economy might need special consideration. And because when it comes to a decision that only affects a member's own district, there is a tradition of deference here in Congress to the views of that member. This is a very long way around to saying that I support H.R. 2617, the bill now under consideration. The delegate from American Samoa has made the determination that what is best for her constituents is to delay further increases in the minimum wage. She too represents a relatively isolated island economy. Her constituents too have incomes much below the U.S. average. The specific economic factors in American Samoa are not the same as in the Northern Marianas. So while a delay for Samoa may be appropriate, I would not want to imply that further delay for the Northern Marianas is called for at this time. But I do think that the same courtesy that the House provided to me when it comes to making a judgment about the well-being of the people I represent should be given to the gentlewoman, the delegate from American Samoa, with respect to her own district. And for that reason, I urge members to support passage of H.R. 2617.